Hey, Stephen Yanni here doing the junkyard crawl at Bernardston Auto Wrecking in Bernardston, Massachusetts with a 1973 Dodge D100 half-ton pickup truck. Now, 1973 was the second year for this styling cycle, which has a lot of unique upgrades over the truck that came before. Independent front suspension, standard front disc brakes, something you couldn't even get the independent front suspension on the earlier D-series pickups. We had leaf springs and a beam axle. And under the hood of this one, I wish I could tell you what it has, but this little Dodge Neon is preventing me from opening the hood. Let's see if maybe we can take a peek here. Okay. I see a little V8, probably a 318, most likely, but more on that in a moment. But before we get into that stuff, the thing that's kind of unique about the second series, or at least this series of Dodge pickup truck, is the way they greatly resemble the 71 Plymouth Satellite and Roadrunner. In particular, the way the hood has this indentation right here is something that's strictly out of the Plymouth styling studio. In fact, the wheel arches that are kind of bulged front and rear are also very much reminiscent of the 1971 Plymouth Roadrunner and Belvedere. Now this is Motor Trend right here, March of 1972, and we all know that Motor Trend never makes any mistakes with one exception: canceling Roadkill's junkyard gold. Canceled? What do you mean we're canceled? Just saying. But inside of this, we see pretty cool stuff here. It's a test of the new pickup trucks. And in fact, here's the Dodge D100 for 73. And there it is right there, the new way to go. And it says here that 1 in 8 new 72 vehicles was a pickup truck in 1972. And it says here, trucks of all types are gaining in sales to the point that over the past 2 years, they have registered a 25% sales increase to garner 20.7% of the total market. Of this figure, fully 60% are pickups, meaning that roughly 1 out of every 8 vehicles bought in the U.S. is a pickup truck. A further indication of where the market is going is the fact that over 1/2 of the pickup trucks sold each year are used primarily for personal transportation. And here's a roundup of the GMC, the International, the Chevy, and yeah, top right, the Dodge. Now what they had to say about this, which was nice, of the 4 vehicles, the Adventurer Dodge has the best ride when empty due to a new suspension system comprised of an independent coil spring front assembly with wide leaf springs in the back, a wider track, and longer wheelbase. Kind of nice. But here's the crazy thing. The ad for these trucks right here, look at that. At the top it says, from those wonderful folks who brought you the Hemi. Look at that. Now, this is 1972. You got to remember, the Hemi was discontinued in 72. So why is Dodge touting the mighty 426 Hemi? Crazy stuff. But at the bottom, look at the mag wheels on that 1972 early production, show vehicle. And again, those mags were not something that ever came from the factory. They look like Keystone Classics to me, but pretty cool. From those wonderful folks who brought you the Hemi. Now, remember too that in 2004, the Hemi came back in Dodge trucks, so kind of the circle was complete. But getting back to the styling of these things, this is the 1971 Chrysler Plymouth full line catalog right here. And if we look at the Plymouth, this is the B body, this is the Satellite right here, we'll see that the styling of the hood, in particular the Roadrunner hood, kind of hard to see there, but if you know your Plymouth Roadrunners, you'll realize that the inset hood is pretty much exactly what we see on the 72 up Dodge pickup trucks. In fact, the flared wheel openings, these humps like that right there, strictly on the truck. There it is. Now the crazy thing is, the Dodge Charger of the same styling cycle did not have those things. This is the 71 Dodge, which was also new, as was the Plymouth Satellite in 71. But again, it's kind of weird to think that the Dodge pickup truck used Plymouth styling cues and not Dodge styling cues, as seen on the top left there, which is the Charger. And of course, the Charger was the Plymouth Roadrunner and Satellite's cousin under the skin. But interesting stuff. You got to wonder, in the styling studio, why Plymouth cues were applied to the Dodge truck and not Dodge cues. Go figure. Okay, let's look inside of this one, and we can see this is a very base truck, 3-speed manual on the column. There's the pedals down there. Pretty industrial looking creature. This is not an Adventurer, basically. This is the base bare bones. Probably was a fleet vehicle, hard to say. The butterscotch yellow paint might have been safety yellow in some previous life before it faded. Here's the gas tank right there behind the cab, which was standard fare. You'd have to take a heck of a hit to make that really be an issue. There was an optional secondary auxiliary tank, and we can see the bed on this one doesn't match the cab. It's a darker sort of a butterscotch. And here is where where this bed came from a truck that was equipped with the auxiliary tank, but somebody filled it in with a block-off plate. So it's optional tank, not in use. But we look at the tag on this one, and let's get back to the engine codes. And on this one, we see D14AB. B, that's slant 6. This truck was born a 225 slant 6, kind of weird. Rear axle capacity, 2945. Let's get to that. So we know, by the way, that 318 V8 or whatever it was put in there, because this was a slant 6 B code. Kind of weird. I mean, old trucks, you never know what's up, because they go through many owners. Changes happen, but this rear axle, this is the 2,900 pound 8 1/4, and we know that because it has a flat face right here. The 8 1/4 is a Salisbury style axle, and if this was the 8 3/4, which would be a 3,300 pound axle, we have an inset sort of axle flange right there. So this is strictly a very lightweight half-ton Dodge pickup truck right here. Second year. Now the V8 options on this, the $156 will get you a 318 instead of the slant 6 this thing was born with. And for an additional $199, the 360 could be had. And there's even a 400 cubic inch big block, but only on 2-wheel drive models like this one here. But again, we see the 71, 72 Plymouth satellite styling cues right here, or at least what's left of them. The rust and the bond are covering it up a little bit. But it is an interesting thing to think that Dodge utilized Plymouth styling cues on their newly redesigned 1972 up B series pickup trucks. Well, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the Steve Maggs YouTube channel, ring the bell, hit the like button, tell your friends, all that stuff. And be sure to be back tomorrow. We'll have more Junkyard Crawl.